Yo, what is going on everybody? Max here, and today in this video I actually wanted to go over some knifing and tips and just the whole class setup that I've been using for going for knife clips in World War II. I have been absolutely loving this game so far. I feel like this is really going to revive the franchise. I don't know if it's ever going to go back to the way it used to be back in like MW2, MW3 days, but the game itself is definitely a lot of fun. There's some flaws here and there, but it's definitely a good game. And one of my favorite things that they brought back in this Call of Duty is knife feeding. We can actually knife feed in this game. As you guys know, back last year in MWR and IW, we couldn't really go for knifing clips. I mean, you could technically go for knifing clips, but the standards were all over the place because in MWR there was no throwing knife, so all you could do was go around with a knife and no one really wanted to watch you going around and meleeing people. And then in IW, they did have a throwing knife, but because it detonated, no one really knew where to put standards because that's like using an explosive bullet on a sniper, you know? In Advanced Warfare, they had that one sniper that had explosive rounds and no one ever used that because it was too OP. It was too easy to get clips with an explosive sniper. And it was the same thing in IW with the throwing knives, just because they exploded on impact, it didn't really make sense to go for throwing knife feeds with something that wasn't explosive. It's like going for clips with C4. No one wants to watch that shit. And so throwing knives finally did return in Call of Duty World War II. I've been going for knife clips. The first thing I unlocked on this game was the throwing knife. It's been a lot of fun going for clips with it. I did actually hit a knifing clip. I hit a quad throwing knife feed. I posted the feed on Twitter. I didn't post the video because I wanted to put that in this video for you guys. That clip will be in this video towards the end of it. But for those of you who don't have the game yet, or if you're just looking for tips and like what is the best class setup to use for knife feeding, I'm actually going to show you that in this video on what the best ways are to knife in this game. Try to give you guys some tips and pointers to help you out. And so the first thing we are going to do is going to our divisions right here. This is our class setup. I really don't like how the classes are set up in this game. I really like the old perk system more than this one, but it's not the worst thing in the world. We can actually go for knife clips in this. You can see on my class right now, I do actually have 3 throwing knives, which I don't really understand why it shows 3, because when we actually go into a game, I can only use 2 at a time. It doesn't even show that I have 3 in game. It just shows that on my class setup for some reason. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but this is essentially the base class setup you want to have for going for knife clips. There are 5 divisions total in the game. We've got infantry, airborne, armored, mountain, and expeditionary. Expeditionary, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that word as well, but this is the only division I have actually prestiged so far because it is the best one for going for knife clips, and here is why. As you can see, every division actually has its own perks attached to it that you can't get anywhere else. It's only for this division. And so like with airborne, you have an SMG suppressor, you can sprint for longer distances, climb over obstacles faster, and you have an increased sprint speed. You can only get that on this division. And then with expeditionary, the class that you want to use for knifing, at level 1 you will get the fire shotgun shells, which I'm not really a big fan of. I don't even use shotguns. At level 2 you'll be able to select a piece of tactical and lethal equipment, because on normal classes, if we look at normal classes right now, you can only have 1 tactical or lethal. I could have a grenade, but then I get no tactical grenades. Or if I wanted a tactical grenade, I get that 1 tactical grenade, but then I have no lethals. So that's the normal classes. But if you level up the expeditionary division, you'll actually be able to use a lot more grenades, tactical and lethal. And so that's at level 2, you'll be able to use a lethal and a tactical. At level 3, you'll be able to throw equipment faster, farther, and while sprinting. And then at level 4, you will get the most important one for knife feeding, which is resupply equipment from killed enemies, which basically is scavenger. And if you've ever gone for knife clips in previous games, you know that scavenger is essential for going for knife clips, or else there's no other way you'll be able to pick up another throwing knife. Especially in this game, because for whatever reason, this is the first COD in COD history where you are not able to resupply your knife from a dead body without scavenger. In MW3 and all COD titles previous to that, we were always able to pick up our throwing knives or axes by holding the reload button wherever it dropped. So we could kill an enemy with it and hold the reload button and pick it back up, and it would go back into our inventory. And then in BO2 and all the CODs after that, we were able to pick up throwing knives and axes by just running over them. If we just stood over where they dropped, they would just go right back into our inventory, right? But for whatever reason, Call of Duty World War II is the first COD in COD history where when you use a throwing knife to get a kill, once you get a kill with it, it consumes the throwing knife, meaning you cannot pick it up again. It is used, meaning you can't use it again, which does make sense if it was always that way. But the reason it makes me mad personally is because it's never been this way. This is the first COD where it's ever done that, meaning that if I do want to go for throwing knife clips, I have to use the expeditionary class or division, whatever you want to call it, because it has the scavenger perk. So basically without scavenger, I can't go for these these clips because I won't be able to get more throwing knives. I'll be able to get 2 kills, and then I won't be able to pick up any more throwing knives because they'll be consumed. And so that's why I'm praying that Michael Conjury and the other guys working at World War II, please guys, please make it so I can actually pick up a throwing knife after I've already gotten a kill with it. Because not only will that make it a lot easier for us knifers using this division for the scavenger perk, but it'll also make it so we're not as reliant on scavenger, and I could use like the airborne one to run around because it has the sprint for longer distances, climb over obstacles faster, increase sprint speed. I would love to use that for knifing, but unfortunately, because I can't resupply my throwing knife once I've already gotten a kill with it, there'd be no way for me to actually get a quad throwing knife feed unless I'm using the scavenger perk. So that's basically everything for the classes anyway for knifing, because as of right now, if you want to go for knife clips, guys, you have to use the expeditionary division. Again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name of that division. It's a big word, all right? I failed English. So that's the division anyway. If you're looking for basic training isn't too important just because scavenger is probably the most important thing. There are really only 2 basic trainings you really want to use if you're going for knife clips. The first one would be serrated, which you unlock at like level 39, I want to say. I could be wrong on that. It's like late 30s, I know. It's before level 40 though. What this basic training does is it makes it so you take a melee weapon as your primary, you melee much faster, and your bonus is you get 2 throwing knives and 2 tacticals. Basically meaning that my primary is the shovel. I'm sure they're going to add more melee weapons in the future, but your primary will be a shovel for now. You get to take 2 tacticals, so 2 concussion grenades, and then you also get 2 throwing knives. The reason I have 3 throwing knives, which it doesn't even matter, like I said, because once you get in the game, you're limited to 2 throwing knives. Even though it shows 3 throwing knives on my class right here, you will only have 2 in game. So that's another thing I'm hoping Michael Conjury fixes. It's one thing is a glitch here. It's either a glitch in game, like I should have 3 throwing knives, or it should not be showing 3 throwing knives here on my class. One or the other, something needs to be fixed. But the whole reason I have 3 throwing knives on my class right now is actually because of 2 things. One is because of the expeditionary perk that lets me select a piece of tactical and lethal equipment, and then it's also because of the basic training perk, 2 throwing knives and 2 tacticals. So because of that, that's why I have 3 throwing knives in my inventory right there. But like I said, it doesn't even matter because in-game you only have 2 of them anyway. And then if we go to basic training, again, the only other basic training perk you would really want to use is all the way at the bottom, the concussed perk. This perk makes it so you take a concussion grenade as your tactical and then also an extra piece of lethal equipment. Now this would be perfect if you are going for quests. If you guys don't know what quests are as a knife feeder, it's basically like you use a primary that isn't a knife feeding weapon, so it's not a melee weapon. It's something that the leader of XJMX Jam came up with a long time ago. It's just basically for style points. There's no reason behind it. You don't have to use a primary if you're going for knife clips, obviously. It just looks a lot cooler in montages if you're holding a gun going for throwing knife clips. It's just style points is all it is. But as you can see, that gets rid of the 3 throwing knives because of that perk isn't on there anymore. So I have 2 throwing knives and 2 concussions. But me personally, I'm trying to get the diamond shovel right now, and so I've just been using the serrated, so I have the shovel on actually, and then I've got the 3 throwing knives and the 2 concussions. But yeah, that's basically it for class setups, guys. If you guys have any questions at all on anything knife feeding related or anything class related, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I'll try to answer as many as I can. I've been knifing for a long time. I've been on and off with it. I don't like doing the same thing over and over and over again, and so I like to switch it up. I go back and forth between sniping, going for pistol clips, and knifing clips. I like doing it all, and so if you guys have any questions on any of that, feel free to leave them down there. I like talking with you guys. I've got nothing better to do with my life anyway. Holy oh, I didn't have a throwing knife, dude. Anyways, though, I did promise you guys I would show you the quad throwing knife that I hit the other day, and so I'll play that for you guys right now.
I'm gonna get you close to me, even when you're close to me. Dude, Sam Smith is on a new level, dude.
Yeah, I just hit a quad fucking throwing knife feed. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh shit.
He got hyped. Let's go.
Nice.
Fuck, I've been grinding so hard for that shit. So obviously the clip was in war, and a lot of people are like, oh, if it's hit in war, it's not usable. Honestly, I feel like later in this game's lifespan, it won't be usable. But right now, like, it was the hit on the 2nd day of the game coming out. Like, give me a fucking break. I don't know. I like how the clip turned out, especially how I turned around to get the last guy. I really like the clip personally. It wasn't the world's first quad throwing knife either. The first one that I saw was Noah's, former XJMX Noah. But yeah, I remember on the first day the game came out, I'm pretty sure Noah hit a quad throwing knife clip, and that thing was nice. Why am I on a fucking 1 bar right now? And now I'm back on a full bar? What? Dude. Hotspot OP? What is that? What? What the fuck is going on? What did this guy witness? What? What was he doing? What? You know, there's other play styles, dude. What? He's in literally the very, very back of the map. The only reason I even looked back there was because we had a UAV. What are you doing up there, dude? Are you fucking kidding me? Why am I playing with these garbage players? I still got the bronze star playing on this fucking connection. God damn it. Oh my god, look at that fucking... Anyways, that is gonna have to do it for the video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Like I said, if you do have any questions on what you would like to... Look, I got a ball. If you have any questions on the knife class setup or anything else knifing related or any, I don't fucking care, comment what you want. I'll try to reply to as many of you as you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please make sure to leave a big fat thumbs up on it for me, and I will see you all in the next video. But until then, this has been Max. Peace.